But I do think there's something redeemable in 𝒉𝒂𝒐𝒏𝒒𝒄𝒂's position. He clearly wishes that he had a church that was capable of policing orthodoxy, of establishing clear doctrine. So you could figure out who was and wasn't an Orthodox member of the denomination or church, and that it didn't just turn on the cult of popularity about who the most popular YouTube preacher was. I'm sympathetic to all of that. In his Reconquista project, Zoomer has argued that you should stay with historic denominational institutions, even if you disagree with the teachings, even if you disagree with the preaching. And whatever you think of that argument, the only logical place to end up there is to reject the Reformation. Like, there's no coherent way that I see of saying, yes, it is bad when conservative Presbyterians break away from liberal Presbyterians because they should hold on to the denomination they grew up in and were part of, and this is schism. But then also say, well, it's fine when Martin Luther does it, or it's fine when John Calvin does it. And, you can say, oh, Luther was excommunicated. I think that's like a silly argument. Calvin wasn't. He left on his own. So I would say this to you, 𝒉𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒂. I hope this is the start of a longer-term interaction between us. I'd love to sit down with you, and I think you should continue this quest. I think that anyone who is similarly disposed, who says, you know what, this theology out there being peddled by people like Sproul and MacArthur is vacuous. There's got to be more. I want to draw on the tradition. That's a good impulse. But I wouldn't settle for a 500-year-old tradition like Calvinism. I would go for something deeper, richer, and older. And wanting to be part of a church that actually has boundaries and can police doctrine, has clear principles of orthodoxy and heresy, I would invite you to join that church. And I extend that not only to 𝒉𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒂, but to any of you watching who might be in a similar sort of spot. It's not a straw man to say there are Protestants peddling bad ideas. You might disagree with those ideas or not. Thankfully, on some of them, 𝒉𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒂 disagreed with Sproul and MacArthur. But there you go. I would say, I think Calvinism, in its forms, that at least as articulated by people like Sproul and MacArthur, has real logical and theological problems. That might apply to you, might not. Either way, the incoherence of policing the boundaries and all of that, this constant gatekeeping of who gets to call themselves an evangelical or a Calvinist or whatever, we can avoid all of this in a really simple way by just being members of one church as we were meant to be. So I would leave you with that appeal.